All right, we're going to just go through a little bit of what are some of the changes in Excel 2010. Again, all the assignments you're doing for this course can be used in 2003 or 2007. A lot of it has to do with formulas. The basic formulas hasn't changed. The basic formulas have not changed since I first started doing spreadsheets back in 1983. So what you're doing as far as setting up formulas and a lot of your assignments here, don't stress out by saying, well, I'm not current in 2010. A lot of that will be current. Right now, I do have the screen up here for the 2010 template. This is what Excel 2010 would look like if you get the upgraded version. Okay, if you look at it, it's not substantially different than 2007. I think it's very close to 2007. They have, different cells. Let's say you have some word in here typed in, and I'll type in word. And we'll make these little update, how to make columns wider, right? You just highlight all the columns and then widen it out. Now, I have a label put down here. These particular buttons right here, I could center that label. I could make the label go to the right side. I can make the label go to the left side, right? And those are just all quick updates right up here. I don't know if you've used those here. Let's say I had a real deep cell too. You have things here where I can center the word, make it to the top of this cell, or make it to the bottom of this cell. And this, I think, is a little bit of an update, but you can do that quickly right here. So let's say I want it in the center of the cell, and right in the center of it also, as far as how deep it is. I can do that by clicking these two buttons right here. Or I can make it on the bottom and to the right. So that's a nice little feature. And they're making more of these features a little easier to get at by having them right in the home area. If you want to paste something, cut something, or copy something, you can do it right here in your clipboard area. Going down the insert, page layout, formulas, data, review, and the view, pretty similar to 2007. I don't think that is drastically different as far as any of those particular areas. Here, the file area looks somewhat different. When we click on the file area, and I think before it used to have a button up here for the file, but when you click on file, that's a little different, and that's taking me a little time to try to get used to things here, but it's not that bad. I have gone to new versions of either Lotus 1.2.3. I started out in version 1.0, and all of a sudden they went to version 2, and then they went to version 3, and I had to, just go to all those different versions through Lotus 1.2.3. And then when I went on Excel, it was the same thing. All of a sudden it was Excel 1995 and Excel, 2003, Excel 2007. They seem to put a year to it. But pretty much when you go to a new version, grab it and just start playing around with it. Make sure you save your spreadsheet and you play around with it, and you can find out what it does, and usually it's not going to destroy too many things while you're doing it. So you just kind of play around with these things. Here, as far as opening, now when you try to open a new file, that gave me a little bit of confusion when I was first doing it. But what you have to realize is if I go down to my computer area, that'll get me to my subdirectories of where I want to pull things up. I have a C drive, a G, H, R, and S, where I can go to different areas to get files. Let's say I'm on my C drive, and I know a lot of my data files that are under user. So I click user, and then I would click O'Brien. and let's say accounting 1, and then I have a number of different spreadsheets out here on accounting 1. So, you know, it's the same type of tree format to get to the particular area you want to get to. Up here, if you want to go back, that'll get me back to O'Brien, or under O'Brien, I can get to a different thing. If I don't think it's under accounting 1, I could go to my documents and look and see what spreadsheets are under there under my documents. Okay? Play around with it. I don't think it's that difficult to do. I get on my open, and let's say I want to look at, and I think this is a nice little feature, the recent. These are all the spreadsheets that I have recently had open. So if you are working on a spreadsheet and you're going to be working on it tomorrow, you just click on the recent and you can pull up that file real quick. That's a nice little added benefit, because that's usually what happens is you're working on a spreadsheet and the next day you're going to be working on the same spreadsheet. You go to this recent file and you can pull it up and you can start getting into all the different things. Sue, do you have a question? Nope. That is a nice little feature though, right? The print is probably the thing that you have to work with the most as far as getting to know all the different nuances of this particular spreadsheet. To me, one of the things that I had to work out is I can print to a number of different printers. And you click on this button to identify which printer you want to go to. And it depends on where I am in the building, or if I'm working at home, what printer do I want to go to? I have to know how to pull this up and click on the appropriate button so I can get to the printer I want to get to. Okay. If you're doing layouts for printing, that pretty much is the same as what you were doing in 2007. There, you're not going to be under File, you're going to be under Page Layout. And you can get to Page Layout, set your margins, set the size, set the print area. When I went from 2003 to 2007, that was the hardest thing for me to find. It took me, I had to go ask someone, I said, where do you define the print area for what you want to actually print out? And really, it's under Page Layout and then Print Area. Okay, so you can set print area, and you know, like if I set up this, I can go to this print area and then set my print area. Okay, and then from that I can just print out this specific area that I want. So define what area you want to print out. Let's say this would be the area I wanted to print out. I would set my print area, and then that's what would go. Once I go back to File, back to Print, right here shows you a preview of what you're printing. Right here. And it shows you that there's 2 pages. Okay. So that lets you know what it would look like just briefly, and these are the areas you have set up. If I go back to Page Layout, and let's say I go like this and like this, I'm changing what I want it to print. I set print area. Now I'm going to be printing from this way. Now I would also want to set the orientation. Since this is more of a landscape type look, I would go to landscape. Now if I go under File and I look, here is the type of print preview. Here's page 1, there's page 2. See how it's landscaped now? And it gives you a little preview of that. You can also change what size you want your fonts to be. And all of that is either under page layout or under this print particular area, this settings. Okay, that's pretty much a general look at the new 2010. As we get into more and more features on it, we'll get into it a little more. Some of it also, start giving me some of your tips. If you think you have found something in 2010 that's really nifty, or talk to people who use Excel on the job and say, hey, do you have any nifty little thing that you do here that you think is rather unique, and let them share that with you. You send it to me and you get points. If you just give me any tip at all, 20 points. You give me a tip that I do a recording on, I will use your name in the recording and I'll give you 40 points. If you lose any points, go find a tip. Gets your points back, right? Okay. Yeah, stop recording this.